After 22 months of construction, the Nairobi Expressway was finally opened to the public on the 14th of May on a pilot basis. Of course, there has been progress, there has been challenges, and of course, lessons learned. And now joining us this week on Inside Government to help us understand what are the challenges and how they are being addressed is the chairman of Kenya National Highways Authority, Engineer Wangai Dirango. Thank you very much for joining us here. Now it's almost a month since this highway was open to the public. What lessons have we learned so far?
Let me start by saying that we at Kenya are very proud of this project because first, it's an experiment in terms of the participation of the private sector in provision of public utility or public services. So that is the first lesson, that it is doable and it is done in a very short period. We spent about 18 months with the actual construction work, another 4 months doing the setup. So within 22 months, in ordinarily, even in the developed countries, would have taken perhaps 48 months. In fact, we've had very good remarks from visitors coming from other countries that this is really just a magnificent piece of work done within a very short period. So the first lesson to us is that packaging of PPP projects is doable in this country, and that's a lot of confidence in our economy. The second lesson is also drives the efficiency in our roads. Is as much as the physical infrastructure as is to do with the matter of discipline in terms of the road use. Because we've seen some bit of congestions happening around the exit entry areas. Not because we are short of the infrastructure, but because we are still learning how to optimize in terms of the road use this piece of infrastructure. Number 3 is just how many people can benefit from this kind of investment. We've seen an enormous number of people as suppliers, as learners, so it has injected new ways of doing things, new technology.
I know the road is being used on a trial basis, and so the public is curious to find out when will there be the official opening of this highway?
I think what's more critical for us is the fact that the road is available to the public. I mean, the essence of the pilot is that we are trying to, it's the first time really we are having an expressway, not only in Kenya, but in the whole region. So we are trying to see how does this work with us. The one time after a long while we are having toll services, and toll services within the realms of technology that have emerged over the last couple of years. So it's pilot in that sense. I think we'll still be very happy and we really be very honored to host the president here to work, because this is his work. It's one of his masterpiece, one of his biggest contribution to this country during his tenure as president. So we are still waiting when the president diary opens for us to do the official opening.
One thing that has come out clear is the backlog that has been witnessed, especially at the payment point. What has caused all this?
2/3 or 65% are paying in cash. Now that has contributed considerably. Consider this, that if you are to use the onboarded unit or the electronic toll collection system, ETC, it takes you only 3 seconds to actually do that, to go through the tolling station. But if you're using cash, on average, it's taking you 30 seconds to accomplish that transaction. That means for the same amount of time someone paying in cash takes at the toll station, it would have passed 10 vehicles. So one of the things we would like to encourage the users of the expressway is to quickly onboard the electronic collection system. Of course, we have come with an interface in between, which is the card. And this is just more like the card that you would use to pay, the credit card. So it has to be swiped or it has to be inserted. Again, that takes about 10 seconds. So I think the biggest challenge we are seeing right now is the use of cash payment. The second thing, we've seen a few cases of road accident, and we understand that when the road is new, it is exciting to drive, it's very free, so sometimes the speed tends to exceed. We are encouraging the road users that to drive at not more than 80 kilometers per hour. That way, we also care about their mobility as we do their safety.
You're talking about 70%, 75% of all road users using the expressway opting for cash payment over the other systems. Why is this the case?
This is something, of course, we understand that people would like to have a feel first of how it feels to go through. And I think in their own way, I would suggest they are testing the value for money, and rightfully so, because we are in the piloting stage. But we expect that now, having experienced the convenience, the shorter time it takes, the sheer satisfaction of using a road of this nature will also encourage people to take up the onboarded unit. But I think it's simply that people are not familiar with the system. And as more and more road users become familiar, and with better awareness, we expect to see more than 80% onboarded on the electronic collection system, especially those who use the road regularly.
What are you doing as an agency to popularize the use of the ETC system over cash system?
That is normal with every new system or every new facility, that there will be people are trying to adjust to the use. You remember even things like M-Pesa or airtime patches with Safaricom and Airtel and others. We had all these challenges of the scratch cards and what have you. But as time evolved, we found better ways of serving the customers efficiently. And it's not an exception with the expressway. This is the first time that we had expected that most people would go to the traffic center and have the unit onboarded. One of the things that we have done now is to actually, like last weekend, we had the team installing the OBU at Galleria, so that they become closer to the people. The second thing is that we have had this now, the card, which is a between OBU and cash collection. So now that technology has been rolled out, and we hope that very soon this will be available across all our major outlet stations, be it a petrol station, be it a mall. We're in that discussion to see that happens. Mm-hmm. But really, the ultimate solution is to make the OBU installation available as close as possible to where the users are and where it's convenient for them.
You bring these services to the people, and you are talking about you took these services to Galleria Mall, which is in Karen. What about for the people in Kitengela or in Athi River, for example, who would be considered to be the frequent users of this highway?
I think we need to just appreciate that this was the first. We are trying to, it's a start of a process. And I think very soon we would want to see really even agencies develop that can do the internal OBU on behalf of Moja Expressway. So as I say, that is working in progress. We're having that conversation, how this space can be taken closest to where the users are.
You're talking about 22,000 vehicles using this highway. I know the estimation was about 25,000. Is this what you would have expected in the beginning months of the highway? The
estimated traffic for break-even is approximately 35,000. Now, and you can imagine within 1 month, we have averaged 21,000. So that is very encouraging. That shows that truly the whole venture is viable. I think that is comforting to us as the authority. It's also comforting to the private developer when I took the risk, for the first time ever. So I would say we are satisfied so far at what we are seeing, and we really hope that in the coming few months we'll see even that number being exceeded.
We're talking about some areas, especially around the exit, experiencing some form of gridlock as people are paying for cash or through cash. What impact is this having on the usage of the expressway?
This is something we are gauging, but I would say this, of course, the whole reason why we are providing various options for road users between Waiakwe and here at Mlolongo is to reduce congestion. So when someone has to spend 30 minutes at the pay point, is not really our desired aim. The aim is that one should use at most 25 minutes.
Or, driving on the highway.
Driving on the highway. So then when you spend almost an equal time at the pay point, I think that is certainly not discouraging, because then the sense of not value for money then sets in. But again, as we think, there are teething problems that are normal with the new system, and I'm sure they will streamline very quickly.
Now, from the pilot trials that you have done, through paying through the ETC system, how many minutes does it take one person from Mlolongo all the way to Westland?
I'll be very honest, O'Brien, that I have not done Mlolongo, and I did, but I haven't timed myself. But I've had people saying about 15 minutes, others, but in our design, it's about 25 minutes. 25 minutes, because again, if you are flying through here in 15 minutes, I think we also care about your safety, because you are on an elevated road. If something happens, you don't want to see you flipping over. So we encourage that 20 minutes and 5 minutes is good time to do from here, and that's a design speed for this road, 80 kilometers per hour.
22 minutes on a stretch that ordinarily would have taken you about 2.5 to 3 hours definitely is a serious saving in terms of time. But paying 540 shillings, for that journey, is there anything that can be done maybe to review the cost downward?
I want to start with a better part that has taken us 22 minutes.
22 minutes, yes.
So I think in terms of design, we are spot on. That really it conforms to what we had intended. The second thing is to first of all look at something that's very important, that you would be perhaps 2 hours on the road. Think about the amount of fuel that you would use. Secondly, the time that you spend, the stress level. All these are benefits that we may not quantify in terms of the charge that you pay at this point, but definitely accrues to every user. But having said that, we want to optimize the cost and benefit. And I believe we are at a point where we are just doing the piloting. And you recall very many new utilities. You recall when Safaricom first came to the market, you were paying, I think, 200,000 shillings for a handset. Now that has come down to 2,000, 10,000, about that level. We were paying up to, I think, 80 shillings or so for a call. I think maybe even 100 shillings per minute. Now, this same call is going 3 shillings. So I think as a system, the operators get more acquainted and asking how better to serve. It's in the best interest of Moja Company to increase the number of road users. So as we go by, there are some thoughts coming whether we should introduce a peak and off-peak charges, whether you should have a provision for a monthly card. All these options are in the mind of an operator. And I think we are leaving it to the efficiency of the private sector to balance between revenues and and the volume. And I'm sure an optimum level will be achieved in time.
The current cost of using this highway as we stand now, is it subject to review downward going forward, or this has to be the standard fee up to the end of the 30-year term?
It's subject to review. I think the law allows the cabinet secretary in charge of roads to, on application, to consider either upwards or downwards. And I think more is that it sets the upper limit. There is nothing that stops the operating company to provide certain discounts or certain waivers to users. But I think in terms of the upward trend, beyond what is currently legislated or regulated, then it needs the approval of the cabinet secretary. But having said that, then, I think, nothing confirms value more than use. The fact that some 20,000 users every day find it more useful to use these roads counts that in their calculation, easy mental calculation, there is value. And secondly, it's also to think what has happened to the roads outside. We are seeing about a quarter of the traffic that ply these routes have turned to the expressway. That means we have a quarter less traffic on the other road. And you've seen that therefore even the right or the other road users is more comfortable and less congested.
So far since this road was opened on a pilot basis, from the Ministry of Road perspective and from Kenya's perspective, because you're also the manager of the A8 highway, what we call the Mombasa Road, have we managed to feel any impact of this road in terms of the number of vehicles using the A8 highway?
Let me say this, that first of all, it's a very short duration. But I think one thing that we have observed, really, we don't have the figures yet, but I think just from my perception, is that we have less congestion on the A8 roads. So I think that for me is one of the major impact. Second, and it's very, very important, it's how we are able to plan our time. You know, there are people who have missed flights going to the airport because they don't know whether to plan for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 3 hours. But now, for certain, you can plan your time that within 30 minutes, you move from Westlands to JKIA. I mean, just that relief of knowing that you don't have to carry the stress that goes in the uncertainty, it's itself a big relief. And as you have said, secondly, is that we have seen also, and you can see really even in terms of the movement on the A8 road, it's more freer than what we have known it to be for the last couple of years.
In terms of economic benefits, and this is a question that that was the purpose of this highway. I mean, to ensure that it broadens the economic impact of the A8 highway, or what we call the Mombasa Road. What are the now low-hanging fruits in terms of economic benefits of this highway, even as you continue with the trial phase?
The first and obvious is that people have more time in their hands to engage in productive work. I mean, other than spending 3 hours, 4 hours a day on traffic, families from Kitengela who have to rise up every morning, had to rise up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, now can easily enjoy quality family time, leave the house at 7 o'clock and get to work. I think that for me is one of the biggest benefit this road has brought about. The second is the fact that we have employed on this road toll attendants and other staff doing administration. 480 jobs have been created out of this facility. We also know that about 11,000 people have passed through this road, being trained on the various aspects, on-job training, and I mean that's enormous injection of skill to this country.
The road is being touted, in many parts of Africa as the catalyst of what the public-private partnership can do. Do we have any other road that is planned that will take the shape of this expressway?
Yes, but from different perspective. Of course, we know that one of the major functions of this road is to open the Mombasa-Busia-Malaba corridor, the northern corridor, which goes all the way up to Uganda, DRC and beyond. And so we are in the process of finalizing a PPP road between Rironi all the way to Mau Summit. And so using the same concept of toll, but probably this is a closed tolling system that most likely will be an open tolling system, but that discussion is still ongoing. Secondly, we have now started scooping the roads that we have around us, the Mombasa Gate Bridge, for example, and asking which other roads are viable. And remember also is that, and this is very important to us, that all these roads we have seen over the last 10 years, 15 years, they also require maintenance. So we are also asking, how do we ensure that with an increased network, we are able to provide quality riding service? And so that discussion is ongoing to scope which other roads can fit within this projection. But I think you are right that I think around Africa, we've had many countries coming here to benchmark and to see how we did it. We've had a case of Rwanda, for example. They were already very impressed. They will be coming here to just check it out and see what can they borrow to also implement in their own country along our cooperation within the East African Community region.
I also understand that there are plans to improve on the A8 highway, that is Mombasa Road, And I have heard about 9 billion shillings that is going to be spent on the improvement of that section. Where are we? And the improvement of Mombasa Road was not part of this contract.
Absolutely true that we intend to improve AH, and it's not just something that has emerged now, it's something that emerged a long time ago, right from the conception. You remember that even as we were doing these roads, we had to relocate certain services, you know, the police cameras, the water lines, electricity. And that, even as we are completing the roads, may be unknown to many people, that some of that work was still ongoing. And so that's why you find that the restoration of the pedestrian footpaths has taken a bit longer. But yes, it was part and parcel of this contract to restore the pedestrian footpaths, to restore the drainage system, and also to, you see some places we have constricted to 2 lanes. So the restoration of the full 3 lanes is also something that had been conceived right from the beginning. So, but I think as we are going through that, we realize that it's also important now seeing the traffic flow to optimize it. For example, we've had some problem areas for a long time around Imara Daima, around the airport, where we encounter frequent flooding. And so we've asked our engineers to get back, and as we restore, then we optimize to see that not only do we restore, but we make it even better than it was before. So that work is ongoing, and the next couple of weeks, it will be starting and proceed at a very fast speed. So is the cost 9 billion? I think that perhaps is not a firm figure here or there, but because the design work is still being optimized. But needless to say, that work is shared because the contractor doing the expressway has obligation to restore part of what he punctured, the areas where he constricted the roads. So whatever cost that comes will be shared first of all within the contract, and then also for us within the maintenance. We also realize that these roads, since it received the last, what we call the strengthening, to make it last longer is quite a while back. So we intend within that process also to strengthen the pavement so it can serve us for another 15 years or so.
How will Mombasa Road look once the rehabilitation work is done?
It is going to be certainly way better than it was. We are doing a very deliberate and full, not only restoration, but even full construction of non-motorized traffic facilities. We are going to increase the lighting facility, make it better lit, so that people can ride, can walk, even at whatever hours of night. We also see a road that provides the Kenyans with multiple options to either take walk to your destination, take a bicycle and ride, use a public transport system, drive your car on the freeways if you so choose, and also drive it on the toll road. So I think that's the vision, that it's not a matter of if or, but it's a matter of giving you options depending on your preference, the squeeze of your time, and what your preferred mode of travel. We want to give that full effect.
Payment. Kenya is a world leader when it comes to mobile money payment, having been the first country in the world to pioneer the payment of mobile money in 2007. So how comes we are yet to see the mobile money payment solution being integrated with this system?
We take pride as a country in our capacity and lead the mobile money technology. And it's not quite true that it's not integrated, because beyond the installation of the OBU, the top-up is mobile enabled. So all we are asking the users is to take some little time, one-off, go to the traffic center or other center that may be designed in due time, have the physical facility installed, because this we can send by M-Pesa. Once that is done, you will top up your account via M-Pesa gradually. If you are to say that you make payment by M-Pesa at the point of paying, believe you me, you'll actually take 50 seconds. If cash takes 30 seconds, before you come at the phone and operate, you probably have the same kind of constraint that we are seeing with mobile, with cash payment.
And you are talking about M-Pesa. I know there was a time as Safaricom, came up with a card system whereby you just need to tap and pay. Is this something that you are thinking about or working with Safaricom and other mobile money services providers to integrate within the system?
I can assure you that I think as an authority, we have actually explored this option with the operator and said, look, have a discussion with Safaricom. And as I said, that this is working in progress. We just starting off, and I'm sure even if that technology is not available right now, I'm sure it's in the mind of Safaricom. What is one of the most important things for us all is to say that we are allowing private sector, that it is better, it's more efficient, is more innovative than government in terms of delivery of business service. And so we are actually saying Moja has every benefit to reduce the time here. And we are saying, look, that's a private sector contribution. The government part is to say we create an enabling environment, we create the land available and needed for this facility or development to happen, and we leave the private sector, which is a better business partner, to do the more efficient operations. But yes, on our part, we'll keep on urging them, and we'll keep on nagging them and keep on monitoring how they are utilizing emerging technologies to deliver better and much more.
As Kenya National Highways Authority, when you look at this road, so far, has it met the expectations of you as an organization when you are entering this agreement with the contractor?
In every sense, even exceeded. And I wanted to remind ourselves that this road was first conceived perhaps more than 20 years ago. And many Kenyans will remember at about 2002, 2003 there, we actually had a contract to do this kind of roads. In fact, it was a shorter span. And that from 2002, it has taken us a lot of consideration of the various possibilities until now it is a reality in 2002. That means if we were having a contract being signed in 2002, the concept was there even 10 years before. So the very fact that we are able to finally do a road that makes it possible for transit vehicles across Nairobi to do without causing congestion around town is something that satisfies. Secondly, is the time it has taken to do. This road would have taken 48 months. That was the initial period. We squeezed it to 36, but the contractor achieved it within 22 months. I think that's also second. The third thing, as we say, is the level to which it has integrated to our economy, employing people, employing subcontractors, creating a market for locally produced goods. I mean, I think in all ways it has delivered. And finally, as you've seen, we designed it to do 25 minutes. We are doing it in 22 minutes, just about there. So in every way, it has achieved its design. Of course, needless to say, like any facility engineered, there are always things, lessons to learn, things to improve upon in the future.
Before I let you go, Chairman, what do you reckon is the long-lasting impact of this highway to the Kenya's socio-economic development?
I think the biggest one is to tell us that in deploying our infrastructure, there are many more options than we have known. It opens the lid that covers the realm of possibility. I keep on saying that if Thika Road was version 2.0, then this is version 2.1. So we have gone to a higher level of delivering roads. And that's really will be the legacy that which we remember President Kenyatta, that he showed us that it is possible to do more by encompassing the capacity, the will, and the resources of broader team of stakeholders.
Very well. Anything else?
Thank you very much. I think we just want to also commend all the teams that have worked on this project.
Thank you very much, Chairman, for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
And of course, you have been watching Inside Government. We've been talking to the Chairman of Kenya National Highways Authority on the status of the Nairobi Expressway since it was opened on a pilot basis on the 14th of this month. You have heard it from him. My name is O'Brien Kimani. Thank you very much indeed for your time and of course for watching Inside Government. We'll do this again on Friday next week. Until then, have a good afternoon.